Listen up. We need to have a conversation that's going to sting a little, but it's the conversation that's going to change everything for you. Your mind right now, it's either your greatest asset or it's the thing that's been secretly destroying your potential from the inside out. And I'm betting most of you already know which one it is. C. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Every single morning when you wake up, your brain is already making decisions about what kind of day you're going, to have what you're capable of achieving and how much you're going to push yourself before you even get out of bed. It's been running simulations while you were sleeping, creating stories, building up fears, and honestly, most of the time it's not painting a pretty picture. Think about yesterday. No, seriously, think about it. How many times did you have the opportunity to do something that would have moved you closer to your goals, and instead you chose the comfortable option? How many times did you tell yourself you'd start tomorrow? How many times did you scroll through social media instead of working on that project that's been sitting on your desk for 3 weeks? I'm not asking to make you feel bad. I'm asking because every single one of those moments was your mind making a choice. And if you're honest with yourself, really brutally honest, you'll realize that your mind has been making the same choices over and over again. The safe choices, the easy choices, the choices that keep you exactly where you are right now. But here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. That voice in your head that's been convincing you to play it safe. That's been whispering excuses in your ear. That's been telling you you're not ready, you're not good enough, you don't have what it takes. That voice isn't trying to protect you, it's trying to keep you small. And the crazy part is it's working. Look around you. Look at your life right now. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying you haven't accomplished things. But I am asking you to look at the gap between where you are and where you know you could be if you weren't constantly holding yourself back. That gap, that space between your current reality and your potential, that's where your comfort zone has been living rent-free. And it's been a pretty expensive tenet, hasn't it? Because every day you stay comfortable, every day you choose easy over growth, that gap gets a little wider. Now. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but I have been trying. I've been working hard. I've been pushing myself. And maybe you have in moments. But let me ask you something that's going to hurt a little. Have you been building your mental toughness the same way you would build your physical strength? With consistency, with discipline, with the understanding that growth only happens when you push past what's comfortable? Or have you been treating your mindset like a hobby? Something you work on when you feel motivated, when the conditions are perfect, when you have extra time and energy? Because here's the brutal truth. Your mindset isn't a hobby. It's not something you can dabble in when it's convenient. It's the foundation that everything else in your life is built on. And if that foundation is shaky, if it's inconsistent, if it crumbles every time life gets a little challenging, then everything you're trying to build on top of it is going to come crashing down, and life is going to get challenging. That's not pessimism. That's reality. You're going to face rejection. You're going to fail at things that matter to you. You're going to have days when everything goes wrong, and you question whether you're cut out for the life you're trying to build. The question isn't whether those days are coming. The question is, will you be ready when they arrive? Right now, if I'm being completely honest, most of you aren't. And that's not because you're weak or broken or cursed with bad luck. It's because you've been living in a world that's designed to make you soft. Every convenience, every shortcut, every app that promises to make your life easier has been slowly but surely weakening your ability to handle discomfort. You can order food without talking to another human being. You can date without ever having to risk face-to-face rejection. You can work without leaving your house. You can be entertained for hours without ever having to sit with your own thoughts. And while all of this seems like progress, while it feels like we're living in the golden age of human comfort, it's actually creating a massive problem. Your brain, your ancient survival-focused brain, thinks that avoiding discomfort equals winning. It thinks that if you can go through your day without facing anything challenging, anything uncertain, anything that makes you sweat a little, then you've succeeded. But that's not success. That's stagnation disguised as safety. And the worst part is every time you choose comfort over growth, every time you avoid something because it might be difficult or uncertain, you're training your brain. You're teaching it that you can't handle hard things. You're reinforcing the belief that you need to be protected from anything that might push you out of your comfort zone. So when life inevitably throws you a curveball when you face something that you can't swipe away or order online or solve with an app, your brain panics. It doesn't know how to handle real challenge because you've been avoiding real challenge for so long. But here's where it gets interesting. Here's where we flip the script. Because once you understand what's been happening, once you see how you've been unconsciously weakening yourself, you can start doing the opposite. You can start deliberately choosing discomfort. You can start seeking out the things that make you a little nervous, a little uncertain, a little outside your comfort zone. Not because you're a masochist, not because you enjoy suffering, but because you understand that discomfort is the price of admission to the life you actually want. It's the entry fee to becoming the person you know you're capable of being. And let me tell you something about that person. The future version of you that's been waiting patiently for you to step up. That person doesn't avoid hard conversations. They have them. That person doesn't put off difficult projects. They tackle them first. That person doesn't make excuses when things get challenging. They get creative, they adapt, they push through. That person exists. They're not some fantasy version of yourself that you'll never become. They're you with a different set of daily choices. They're you with a mindset that's been trained to see challenge as opportunity instead of threat. But to become that person, you have to start making different choices. And those choices are going to feel uncomfortable at first. They're going to feel wrong, scary, like you're pushing yourself too hard, too fast. Your brain is going to resist. It's going to offer you 1,000 reasons to slow down, to take a break, to wait until conditions are more favorable. And that's when you'll know you're on the right track. Because the only way to build mental toughness is to practice being mentally tough. The only way to build confidence is to do things that require confidence, even when you don't feel ready. The only way to build resilience is to bounce back from things that knock you down. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending everything is fine when it's not. This isn't about grinding yourself into the ground or ignoring your mental health. This is about deliberately training your mind the same way you train your body. With intention, with consistency, with the understanding that growth requires progressive overload. You wouldn't expect to walk into a gym and deadlift 400 pounds on your first day, but somehow you expect to handle major life challenges with grace and strength without ever practicing on smaller challenges first. It doesn't work that way. Mental toughness is built in the small moments. It's built when you choose to have that difficult conversation instead of avoiding it. It's built when you start working on your project, even though you don't feel inspired. It's built when you go to the gym, even though you're tired. It's built when you speak up in the meeting, even though your voice might shake. It's built in 1,000 tiny moments when you choose growth over comfort, action over procrastination, courage over fear. And each time you make that choice, each time you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought you could, you add another layer to your mental armor. But here's the thing about building mental toughness. It's not a destination you arrive at. It's not like you reach a certain level and then you're done permanently bulletproof for the rest of your life. It's an ongoing practice. It's a muscle that needs to be exercised consistently or it starts to weaken, and that's actually good news because it means you don't have to become perfect overnight. You don't have to transform into some superhuman version of yourself by next Tuesday. You just have to start. You just have to choose growth over comfort once today, then once tomorrow, then once the day after that, and slowly, gradually, without you even noticing at first, something starts to shift. The things that used to overwhelm, you start to feel manageable. The challenges that used to make you want to hide start to feel like puzzles to solve. The uncertainty that used to paralyze you starts to feel like adventure. You stop needing perfect conditions to take action. You stop waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. You stop looking for permission from other people to pursue your goals. You become your own source of strength, your own source of motivation, your own source of permission. And that's when everything changes. That's when you realize that the life you've been dreaming about, the goals you've been putting off, the person you've been afraid to become, they were never as far away as you thought. They were just on the other side of your comfort zone, waiting for you to be brave enough to reach for them. But you have to start. You have to stop talking about change and start practicing change. You have to stop planning for tomorrow and start acting today. You have to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating imperfect moments that move you forward. Because here's what I know about you. Even if we've never met, you're stronger than you think you are. You're more capable than you've been giving yourself credit for. You have more potential than you've been accessing. But that strength, that capability, that potential, it's not going to reveal itself while you're sitting in your comfort zone, hoping things will magically improve. It's going to reveal itself when you start demanding more from yourself. When you start expecting more from yourself, when you start believing that you deserve more than a life lived in the safety of, mediocrity. Your mind is going to resist this message. It's going to offer you reasons why this doesn't apply to you. Why your situation is different. Why now isn't the right time. That's normal. That's expected. That's your current mindset trying to protect its territory. But you don't have to listen. You can thank that voice for its concern and then do what you came here to do anyway. You can acknowledge the fear and then act with courage anyway. You can feel uncertain and then move forward anyway, because on the other side of that resistance, on the other side of that discomfort, on the other side of that fear, that's where your real life is waiting. That's where the person you're meant to become is standing, ready to welcome you home. So the question isn't whether you can build an unbreakable mindset. The question is whether you will. The question is whether you're tired enough of living small to start living large. The question is whether you're ready to stop being your own biggest obstacle and start being your own greatest asset. The choice, as always, is yours. But choose quickly, because time is the one thing you can't get back. And every day you spend in your comfort zone is another day that stronger, braver, more capable version of yourself has to wait. And they've been waiting long enough, don't you think?